This liquid come to pass, come to manifest. So already you're in my bad book, and it's only a matter of time before I sack you.
No, that's a good example.
That's me.
But listen to this one, right? Alright, you got a girl, she cheated, right? Not like maybe someone like my girl who might cheat all the time, yeah? You got a girl who cheated once, she's seen someone else who prefers something different. You understanding that, what are you going to do?
But when you take it, let me finish. My brother,
because what have you done already? Because they can't start already. So 100, what did you do?
You see, in these times that these things were written, right? If your woman cheats on you, she's out the house.
But what did you do?
Hold on.
I hear the rules, but what did you all individual do with your last woman you had who cheated?
She don't get down, I'm not with her anymore.
But did somebody really be with her?
You think we the same?
My brother, you understand what's being said here though?
When your woman cheats, we're men, we don't. That's right. Keep that woman to the
But let's say your mum cheated on your dad stuck with her, and that's why you're here.
What's that?
Being a man, he needs to be evil.
But then you're here because of that. Maybe there's something on.
Yeah, but Solomon, things happen, that's life, that's the most side.
What about things like that? I'm being serious, but that's been actually occurred before. I hear that, but still,
Read Isaiah 6 again. Isaiah 6 again. When they don't understand it. Let's go back to that. Yeah. Because we move like you have to do things. You know how you move it. But then you have to go back to it again. Because that one said we have to go back to it. Because he doesn't understand. How you going to take back a woman that cheated on you?
No, exactly. Get 2 Thessalonians 2.
If you don't know, you don't know that.
2 Thessalonians 3.
2 you said us.
Yeah, 2 and 10.
2 and 10. In the book of 2 Thessalonians, chapter 2.
I was just going to say, this goes to prove that it's not of men, man. It's of Yahweh if you go and make it give this one.
Come on.
This is proof of it. Scripture after scripture,
You know, like, we've gone through so many scriptures, and you're still saying,
that's good.
It's edifying for somebody. See, like, what's happening here, somebody will get it, and it will click, and they will get it, and they will change. So you might not, but you're helping someone to change.
Go on. Bring out, yes? So this is the book of 2 Thessalonians, chapter 2 and verse 10. And it reads, and with all deceivableness of unrighteousness, verse 9, even him whose coming is after the working of Satan with all power.
You know what he will do? He'll question every single thing. That's what he will do.
Who's that?
No, he's saying him who's coming is after the working of Satan.
Yeah, but who is that?
Well, those who don't want to hearken to the
Anybody
words
that
of the
want to
Most
hear
High.
is coming under the words of Satan. Because there's only two ways. There's the Most High's way and there's Satan's way. There's no in between.
Let's get it real here. But let's get it real. Before you do, but let's get it real. Both sides are God. Right? Both sides. No, I'm saying one point. Both sides is owned by one person. Right? It's like a car. You got passenger side and the driver side. The driver owns both sides.
No, listen, you don't drive from the passenger side.
I didn't say that. I
This
said
is
it's
the
like
book
owning a
of
car.
2 Thessalonians, chapter 2 and verse 9. Even him whose coming is after the working of Satan with all power and signs and lying wonders, verse 10, and with all deceivableness of unrighteousness in them that perish, because they receive not the love of the truth,
And that's what we've been
that
giving
they
our
might be
people,
saved.
the love of the truth.
Which will
Our
save
people
them.
don't want that. Go on.
Verse 11.
Yeah.
And for this cause,
So because you don't want to receive the love of the truth,
Here's how.
and for this cause, God, Yahweh power, shall send them strong delusions.
What's a strong delusion?
no, make him read on.
You understand.
They could be chasing you right now. Delusional.
Go on.
Strong delusion that they should
But that's a
believe a
possibility.
lie.
Like,
Know some of that strong delusion? If buts, maybe,
That's why I
why?
want him to acknowledge.
Go on.
That they all might be damned who believe not the truth, but had pleasure in unrighteousness.
Bring up Matthew 13 and 16.
This is Matthew 13, chapter 30, verse 16. But blessed are your eyes.
But what?
But blessed are your eyes, for they see.
So those of us that can actually see this, the Bible says, blessed is your eyes. Like, when I saw Deuteronomy 28 broken down, I went, if
That was it for me, boy.
You know what I'm saying?
That was it.
Yeah, I used that eye to get myself in order. So it says, blessed are your eyes for they see.
That was it for me, boy.
And your ears for they hear.
Yeah, because what did it say? Lean not on your own understanding. Like, I brought that out. That's basic. Lean not on your own understanding. Read from 15.
This is Matthew chapter 30 verse 15. For this people's heart is waxed wroth.
See, same thing the brother was reading in Isaiah 6 and 9. Yeah. Go on.
And their ears are dull of hearing, and their eyes they have closed, lest at any time they should see with their eyes and hear with their ears.
Because the Most High is leaving you in your unrighteousness. He's giving you a strong delusion that you should believe a lie. And that lie is the if, buts, why, and maybes.
He said, wait.
And should understand with their heart,
That
and
you
should
should.
be converted, and should heal them.
Yeah,
And I should heal them.
because if you don't want to listen to what the Most High says, He's going to make you continue that path. You thinking, yeah, you know what? Amun Ra and the pyramids and
Egyptology.
yeah, whatever it is.
But let's say
Islam. So our people don't want to believe that.
Like, no, I'm listening to you, but I'm questioning you.
The way you listen, I brought it out. I gave you the basics, my brother. The basics is He will give you certain understanding to come into this truth. For you to get more wisdom, you have to be obedient. It says a good understanding of all they that do His commandments. If you can't bypass, if you can't understand that,
Nah, I hear what you're saying. You're saying just be good and more will come to me.
Exactly.
Rather
Some of
than
the questions
being how I
like-
am and trying to figure it out.
He didn't say be good.
Not be good.
He said
No,
be
follow the commandments.
obedient.
Yes,
That's what he
But
said.
what is obedience to God? That's
Keeping
good,
His
no?
commandments.
Keeping
His
statutes, laws, and
No, but I'm
commandments.
saying, is that good to God? Being
Of course it
obedient.
is.
So
Of course it
when
is.
I said be good, why are you correcting it?
because your understanding of good and what the Bible is
That's
understanding.
But you
Right.
just agreed to the same thing I said in a different way.
No, but what is good to you? What is good to you?
Good is what God said. Good
Which
is
is-
doing what God said.
Which is
Either commandments and being obedient, or hold on, or it's maybe why don't you go out there and
He
figure
didn't
it out?
say that. He
No, I'm
said
not saying
keep-
that. I'm not saying that. But at the same time, how do you know? How
But
do you know?
the point is,
Hold on.
good is according Romans 7 and 12.
No, but what you're not getting though.
That's
is
what
that-
good is.
Hold on, I get that.
You're not getting it. I get it.
No, you won't get that, but you're not getting that. It's not just that, bro. You're just focusing on the book. It's
That's what we need to
everything.
getting
That's the whole point.
So do you focus on the world?
You're trying to take the world and a little bit of it with the world, and that's why you're jacked.
I'm just on the book and the world. You're trying to, I know you're trying to do your start. You're good. I gave you that, you're good. You're good. No, you're good, bro. I'm telling you. You're fantastic. You know what you're doing. Go on.
Isaiah 34 and 16. Seek ye out of the book of the Lord Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh,
It's got to show the camera the book.
and read. No one.
That's why the Bible says, blessed is he that readeth. That word read goes into knowledge, man. That's what will happen if you start to read and apply.
You got a precept and after you want to read that? Right? Yeah.
It's big because you said you like the Bible and you like the world. Would you say again? Because I don't want to say.
No, I said that you have information from the Bible, but you also have the information from not just the world, but your mother, your sister, everything. And
This is First John. That's the world.
Yeah,
This is
that's what I'm
First
saying.
John 2 and 15.
Even
It
people
says,
ain't in the world.
"Love not the world.
Can you repeat that again?
Love not the world.
One more time.
Love not the world. Neither the things that are in the world.
In the world.
If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him." So it's one or the other, brother.
But let's say, all right, let's say you're not loving the world.
Isaiah 34 and 16. Seek ye out of the book of the Lord Yahweh and read. No one of these shall fail.
And we actually believe in that.
Right.
That's the difference between us in the truth, whose eyes are open, can see, and those that's in the world.
And also, when he said no one shall fail, meaning like the archaeologists proving the Bible to be real.
That's right.
The historians,
Yeah, them great
proving the Bible to be real. That's how we're able to know that we're Hebrew Israelites. Because
Yeah,
let me finish it, Rama. Let me finish it. So I'm just making a point. He said, none shall want her mate. So you don't need another book apart from the Bible. But these books speak about the prophecies. The Quran don't speak about no prophecies.
That's right.
The book of the dead don't speak about no prophecies.
That's right.
And the silly book of Esau don't speak, because all it does is to bring you into death and carnality. The only book that makes you spiritual and understand the time that we're living in is the Bible. Alright? So he says, for my mouth, that's God speaking.
Yeah, that's right.
For my mouth. Sorry, yeah, for my mouth it has commanded, meaning that's old English to say that. My mouth has commanded. I gave the word. You know the sharp cutter. You know the sharp collar. The one that call and you people go and kill. That's him. God, the original one.
Right. I hear that, but
right. I'm not finished. So he say, and his spirit, it have governed them. Meaning like the people who wrote the Bible. All right, they were great men that were spiritually guided by the power, the higher power, to write certain books that not only are good for understanding and wisdom, but also are light to us today, because you know the poison that we're taking, the people are taking now, the JB, that one is biblical, it's prophecy.
What, the vaccine?
Yeah, we call it the Vanessa, because YouTube kind of people say that they'll kind of sanction, so we got to be careful how we call it Vanessa. Biblical. Vanessa is a prelude for the chip. We call it Marcus Garvey. Yeah? You know the chip is coming. A country like Sweden they already got a system in place. You need an infrastructure to establish that. So let's start with what? The test, which is the Vanessa. All of that, if you go in the Bible now, in the prophecy, in the Revelation, it's there. So this book that we using to preach is actually a book that no atheist can come and say, can prove to us that this book is not real, because the historian already proven the book to be real. The book is real, my brother. Even I give you one prophecy. Talk about the Jews. Them living in that land that they call their home is prophecy. The reason why we're not living there anymore, because we were acting silly. The most sacked us. You know how your son, when he gets to a certain age, started to be a rebellious. Say, you know what? You're 18 now. Can you go? Because this is the Holy Land. You ain't going to allow them who are holy to do unholy things on these holy lands. But guess what? When you put these guys, they do unholy things because it's like a guy running after you. Now you run into an area you know very well, into a place where you got your men there, so you run into a trap. So the Most High made them live there because he know that they're unholy by nature. But anyone who does unholy thing in that land shall be purified, mean destroyed by fire. So he put them there to destroy them. Because when you look at prophecy again, the Third World War, which is a prophecy, why is it happening? In that area. So you get what I'm saying? So this book, if you don't understand it, and that's why I take all of this time with you, because I understand, my brother. It's not for everyone. You know what I mean? Yeah.
This is 2nd Esdras 12.
Yeah,
and 37 says, therefore write all these things that thou hast seen in a book, and hide them, and teach them to the wise of the people, whose heart thou knowest, they comprehend,
always
they keep
back. Always comes back. Always come back. Yeah, please.
And you know that the brother said, you know, that scripture said, hide them. And this is
it says, write it in the book and hide
Write
it.
in the book
So
and
it's
hide it.
actually here.
That means it's hidden, right?
Yeah, but that's it. Before you go, let's say, if you want to hide something from a white man, with a black man, what do? Put them in the book.
But ain't that the bad thing when I'm sure the black man hid the message in the book to keep it away from the white man?
but then he backfired. No, I get what you're saying. But
he's trying to hide it to keep away from the black man then?
But it's backfired.
No, who was he trying to hide it from originally?
From both.
Come on, man. So he's trying to hide it from both. So if they decide to team up, and now that's what you have. Yeah?
That's what they're doing. They're teaming up together. And that will be destroyed.
For everyone.
I know, but my whole point is you should have explained to them why it's not for them, and then maybe they'll say,
we're explaining to you why it's not for
I know, and then me, I might be like, you know what, I'll leave. I won't cause you a problem. Because they won't explain to no one, maybe they thought that was disrespect and they have the opportunity to fight.
Well, if they fight, they will meet the Most High.
I know that, but then it could have been avoided by just simply saying something.
It wasn't meant to be avoided. Think about
I know because somebody wanted to beat.
In your mind is that in your mind you got this thing of that right. It's kind of like a Christian mindset that in your head you think, no, it's unfair that the both sides are righteous or everyone should be saved. They kind of.
I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
No.
Let me get this.
Before you carry on, one thing about this brother you got to understand. The brother, I get what you're saying, but you know the Christian, they have a doctrine and that's it. And then when they talk, they base their conversation on the doctrine. Now, at no time this brother manifested that. What it is, that's the school of Harnack. Like when you come from when in Babylon and you live a certain way, so a certain thing, and you're kind of smart, it creates complex thought patterns in your brain, where in your mind at least, where you become philosophical because you question everything. And the brother cannot help. Yeah, but the brother cannot help but question how God moves. And that's his school. But the reason the Most High made him now, maybe in his past life, he was something that the Most High said, you know what, I'll put that spirit on him so he can be like that. So I can only love the brother, man.
That's the main thing you said, is the spirit. You know what I mean? So it's not just the carnal thing that you see there. We're working through a spirit, man. It's a spirit. So if that spirit don't want to be on you, then it's not going to be on you.
Because there's another spirit.
If your spirit's on you to question everything, that's the spirit that's on you right now.
Yeah, that's the spirit that's on him, man. Like there's nothing you can do about it. You know what I'm saying?
This is Amos 3:7. Surely Yahweh will do nothing but revealeth his secrets. That's those hidden things which he did in the book. Surely Yahweh will do nothing but revealeth his secrets unto his servants, the prophets.
So if you're not following them, basically you're not going to find out.
If you feel your heart is not simple, then it's going to be.
Do this job. Prophets, we went earlier, the prophets are falling now, the same prophets of old that talked about regeneration.
But I know, but look what's happening now. I'm not sure.
I think you missed what I read.
No, I'm just saying that.
You don't say what you're going to say.
Basically, what you have now, you have other prophets like Muhammad and that. We're British. Even this area, I'm not saying he's a prophet, but even in this area, you had a lot of black people before he was. In this area, Britain itself, there's a lot of black people before Muhammad was a prophet.
Yeah, but they don't know nothing.
I know that, but my whole point is if they knew this, they wouldn't go to that.
Yeah, but that's because
we're out here.
No, but that's the portion though. That's the portion to be in that mind. See, I'm saying when you're in that mindset, there have to be, everyone has his portion. Okay, yeah, I want to bring that to you before we carry on.
He read to you earlier that, you know, Moses said that he shall have mercy on you, he shall have mercy. And he will have compassion on you, have compassion. It's done righteousness with the Most High because of that fact.
God forbid.
Basically, the Most High can do whatever the hell he wants to do, man. And you don't get to question that. That's right.
But no, the point he's making is like saying.
But we don't know if he's saying you're allowed to question.
He wants you, that's part of being like a child. He wants you to question. But to a limit.
Am I doing wrong?
Now your questions have been answered.
Does it say to a limit? Does it say that I want you to question to a limit? Or are you assuming that?
This is where the balance comes.
No, but are you assuming that or does it say that?
You see like Al Capone or some big boss.
Hold on, before you do.
You're going to question him, you ain't.
I would.
Because you're going to fear him to some
I'd fear him, but at the same time, I'd fear him, but at the same time, he'll understand, wait a minute, this no one even asked him your question.
You know what it is? Because judgment and righteousness is not executed.
I'm not asking a bullshit question here, I'm asking about what happened, bro.
It's because you ain't received your judgment in that second. That's why you're finding it hard to believe that. But believe you me, everyone's going to receive their judgment in due time because it's not being executed swiftly.
There's a balance to everything. We understand the questions, but there's a balance to things.
No, I hear that. I can't be just questioning.
You've understood anything we've said, you've just questioned it.
No, I have, but.
So what have you understood?
I've understood that God's the boss and what he done, that's it. That's the bottom line.
Ask a question.
Go on.
Can you ask me that question?
So what have you understood?
I've understood that basically the God's the boss and whatever he wants to do, like you said, he does it.
Whoa, that's right.
And that's something I agree with. It's just some things I think to myself, but I need to just maybe keep that to myself from now on. You get it?
There's one important thing you've missed. Because somebody read John 14 and 15. That's one important thing you've missed. Because you've just said what you just said, yeah, but there's a main thing you've missed.
That's not his portion, basically.
No, but it's like...
No, you can read it, but it's not his
Yeah,
portion.
you just read it still.
Probably
I
later.
want to show you where you've missed.
Probably later.
This is John 14 and 15. If you love me, keep my commandments.
That's what you've missed, is keeping the commandments. That's the main thing you've missed, is being obedient by keeping what he says to do.
Well, rehearse it.
Yeah, that's what
you
you've
don't,
missed.
you can't keep it 100%. You
You
can
know what I
rehearse.
mean? Yeah.
At least try it. At least try it. Do you eat pork?
Pardon?
Do you eat pork?
No.
Do you eat shrimps?
Shrimp.
Do you eat like prawns?
Prawns.
Yes, you do.
Yes, I do, but not so much anymore. But yes,
Don't eat them.
okay.
Don't eat prawns anymore, man.
That's one of the
No, it's
commandments.
What's wrong with prawns?
not. Can someone go to Leviticus. We'll show you.
Parasite.
Let's read it. Leviticus 11. We're going to read it, man. I love you, my brother. You're a very good brother, man.
This is what love is. This is love.
Start 7.
Alright. This is Leviticus chapter 11 and verse 7. Take it at verse 7. Read. And the swine, though he divideth the hoof, and
So the swine is the pork, yeah?
and be cloven-footed, yet he cheweth not the cud. He is unclean to you.
So the pork is unclean according to this Bible, which is the law, our constitution. We're not supposed to eat because the pork is a sanitary agent. He's supposed to clean the earth, just like the rats, the squirrels, all those guys. They're not supposed to eat because they clean the earth, so it make them unclean. So you can't eat unclean flesh.
But going to cut you, that's what we're eating now. You go to Lidl, Aldi, they might say it's chicken, but really, you understand?
Like, can someone bring Ezekiel
Even
for
myself, so that's a problem. But then because of the advertisement, some of you lot would say, right, it says chicken.
Verse 9.
Right.
Verse 9. I jumped to verse 9.
No, keep down the foot.
Leviticus chapter 11 verse 9. These shall ye eat of all that are in the waters.
Right. You shall eat from all that in the water. So Moses is telling you these are the fish or whatever is in the water, this is what you need to eat. And not eat.
Whatsoever has fins and scales.
So fins and scale.
In the water.
Sea bream, sea bass, tilapia, all those facing nice things with the scales and fin. Catfish, you can't eat it. You can't eat catfish.
It's got no scales.
You can't eat no prawn because prawn doesn't have scale. They have like
no fins have shells.
They have shells. They don't have scale.
And the scales is what protects it from parasites. So
you can't eat it. You can't eat them food. Only tilapia, only sea bass, only sea bream, only them.
And we wonder why we're a sick people, like blood pressure and all that. It's because of the foods we eat. And the Most High says, do not eat it. Just like if I'm a mechanic and I make a car, yeah, and I say to you, there's 3 different types of oil, and I say use grade 1, don't use grade 2 or grade 3. It will run, but don't use it, because what will happen is if you use grade 2 or 3, the car will run rough. I know, I made the engine, I know what it needs to run smooth. So do what I say, and you'll have the car engine would run smoothly for a long period. But if you go for the cheap or whatever, so now what you're doing is questioning what he said not to do.
No, I'm not. I'm questioning the people who just like you. Hold on, back in the day, doing the right thing. Even you who thought, right, after I'm going to read this lovely book, I'm going to get some prawns, mate. What was that about?
Why would I say get some prawns?
Somebody like you back in the day.
Somebody else.
Well, it's about temptation,
Yes.
like the Most High is gonna put tests. It's not gonna just be an easy thing, you know what I mean? So you're gonna get tempted to do certain things.
Doing the right thing is easy.
And that's the
If you're doing the right thing, it doesn't become easy.
No, it's the harder thing in this place.
So if I'm doing the right thing, it doesn't become easy. Like you said,
Become easy.
Eventually it does, because you get used to it.
what you just said.
No, we never. We were just
It's
like
love,
different
fellas.
angle. Different angle.
My brother, at the end of the day, right, you're never going to understand this.
I think
It is
I
what
do,
it is.
but
No,
I
you
just
don't.
think that
You don't.
there's something else to it.
Obedience.
Obedience is the main thing, and you don't have it, my brother.
I'm a brother, love, yeah?
Anyway, take it easy.
I think
Yeah, he came down, he come down.
I used to
So he
think
put
we did
down there
enough times
thinking
before.
that this guy has wisdom and knowledge, That's why
Comments in the bit.
And the thing about it is he just wanted to be right at the end of the day. He didn't want to be wrong, shall I say.
It's confounded in a few occasions,
Right.
but his pride won't be there.
I've never heard someone say but so much.
So exactly. Yeah, I hear you,
But that's counsel. Let's say you see something, he said, but the counsel it all. And that's what he did the whole time.
Yeah. He gets
He
away
said,
with
yeah, but.
Because the ego of the black man. That's what I'm so. For you brothers out there, you see how you're blessed. For you brothers out there that are keeping the law that are humble. For you sisters that are humble. How many sisters you see that are humble? All these stiff-necked Negroes that you see around the way.
Blessed are your eyes, man.
Blessed are your eyes. You read that. You're supposed to read that. You didn't read it. You read it.
Let's bring it out before we
Bring
close
that
out.
before you pull out, man. Because that's a very important point.
Because well, it's like you said when you said you were speaking to your uncle or something, 4 hours you was trying to break down. That's the worst match there, man. You can sit with him all night. It's gonna get but.
He had preconceived notions that he was going to come up today and teach the brothers something.
That's right.
That's all he was.
I mean, you know what, as you say, it comes like the Christians, yeah? When you tell them you got to keep the law, and they say, no, you got to live by faith. So you bring out 20 scriptures, and they'll ignore your 20 scriptures and say, but here's my scripture.
That's right.
That's what he did. You know?
But at the end of the day, it's not for him.
Yeah.
That is the point.
Yeah. No, it's not.
This is Matthew chapter 13, verses 15. For this people's heart is waxed gross, and their eyes are dull of hearing, and their eyes they have closed, lest at any time they should see with their eyes and hear with their ears.
That's the most I leaving you in your life. They're giving you that delusional spirit.
And should understand with their heart, and should be converted, and I should heal them. But blessed are your eyes, for they see, and your ears, for they hear.
So if you understand this truth, man, it's a blessing. No, as you see, how long will we hear them?
But that's the whole lesson. But there's a reason behind it. On your side, you know, he's showing you why he would just look. Because people might be praying like elect that might be praying, like someone that's watching you.
That's right.
That might be praying and say, oh, Yahweh, when he prays, he's like, Yahweh, why can't you save my brother? Why can't you save? But he knows he been having, you know, conversation with them all his life, and they're so stubborn. But he went through the prayer and he prayed to the Most High. And the Most High said, don't worry, I will show you something. Don't worry, you will see. And then so through that teaching now, they will understand that your brother, your sister cannot be saved, my brother. Last thing, can someone bring second Ezra 9 or 13 or 9? Do not worry about how the
9 and 13.
So bring that. So my brother and sister that pray that prayer, you know, for the Most High to manifest. He gave you your answer, but I give you a precept for you to go with. 9 and 13. 9 and 13.
This is 2nd Ezra chapter 9 and verse 13.
Read 12 first.
This is
12 for those who don't want to listen.
2nd Ezra chapter 9 and verse 12. The same must know it after death by pain. Verse 13. And therefore be thou not curious how the ungodly shall be punished.
So my brothers and sisters, be thou not curious, you know, about the fate of your brother and your sister, your mother, your father, your best friend, or your wife or your husband. Because it won't happen. That's how it's going to be. If it's meant for them to be destroyed, finish that. Yeah, finish that.
And therefore be not curious to how the ungodly shall be punished, and when, but inquire how the righteous shall be saved, whose the word is, and for whom the world is created.
So work out your own salvation, my brother, with fear. All right, this is the fear that the Most High. We're about to talk about the fear, and then this is, you fear the Most High, he can bug you out like that.
This is Romans chapter 3 verses 3.
Yeah.
For what if some did not believe?
That's right.
Shall the unbelief make the faith of Yahweh without offense?
Right. So because now your brother don't believe, the brother that you love so much, don't believe. Don't worry about it.
Nothing ain't gonna change, man.
You know, just keep on eating McDonald's, you be eating with him, whatever. That's no, not McDonald's. Keep on eating the good food that you be eating with him. Break bread with him. But as far as his salvation, that's it. All right. There's nothing you can do about it. All right. Yes, my brother.
Yeah. This is 2nd Ezra chapter 8 and verse 55. And it reads, and therefore ask thou no more questions
concerning
no more questions concerning the multitude of them that perish.
Right.
Verse 56.
Read that again. What was that?
2nd Ezra 8.
Read it.
Read it. Yeah, 2nd Ezra chapter 8 verse 55. And therefore ask thou no more questions concerning the multitude of them that perish.
That's actually a precept for this.
Verse 56 is the point as well. Verse 56. For when they had taken liberty, they despised the Most High. Despised the Most High.
So your brother or your sister, you know, for the guy that had his prayer answered today, you know, your brother or your sister has liberty. You will live his life. He don't care. He live his life. You know what I'm saying? They despise the Most High. The Most High chose you out of your whole family to get this truth, man. So stop worrying about people around you. It's not for everyone. That's the proof. We spent a whole day trying to get a brother in, but we couldn't.
What he just said, yeah. And this is it. It's just a continuation. Thought scorn of his law and forsook his ways.
Right, so
exactly what he did.
So they forsake them because they're quite philosophical problem. When you listen to rappers, none of the new rappers, they're under the druggies. Talking about the 2000 or the 1960s, the Tupac, the Nas, you know, the Black Thought, the who else, man? Like DMX, all those literature, brother, like those writers, you know. You can see the philosophy of Babylon when they rap. And that's exactly what the brother was rapping to us, a different tune that the one of them 44 laugh at this song. We don't understand this song. We also call it the song of confusion. Or the house of two-thirds. Yeah, that would be the house of two-thirds. Or the house of the two-thirds. That's the song that he was singing. The two-thirds, they ain't gonna get this truth. It doesn't matter what you're trying to do. Alright? And that's also...
We're not saying he is, because we don't know, but the point we're making is that the two-thirds
that's how the two-thirds are. It might not be, but that's how they are. So when you're out there preaching, you gotta be spiritual. The reason why we didn't tell him to fuck off and carry on, because the Most High, that was supposed to humble, but that means the Most High would speak to one of the brothers and the sister through it. Because he put the humility for hours in his will. Right? He put his humility spirit on him for hours.
He wasn't bucking up.
Right, because the Most High exactly what. Well, actually, he's bucking up with more philosophical.
Exactly. That's exactly what it was.
Not stuffing.
I was going to say, it's also a test of our patience.
That's right.
Sometimes after dealing with certain Jim, I feel like you need to lie down after.
But that's why I say this. Be spiritual when you're out there, man. You have to I know his spirit. I read his spirit quickly. I read his spirit. That's a philosophical spirit. A demon that's on him that make him reason too much. And when you reason, what happens is that when you reason too much, your mind scattered. That's why I say for you to get, you have to be a listener.
And he lost the basics, man.
You know what I'm saying?
The basics.
The milk.
But he's like, it goes on, but he doesn't. And when you speak to the brother, while you're talking to him, he's speaking of the next thing. So actually, it's a strategy, but it's not him. It's the demon. But the demon play with him so that he never get to the phone.
His younger brother is worse than that.
This guy.
I dealt with him a long time ago. Yeah. Like in the earlier days, I dealt with his younger brother, and his younger brother is a little bit worse than him. But still,
then you saw when you look at them, these are strugglers.
You know.
I'm a struggler, but there's level to it. These are struggling, and that's how we might be when the time comes. That's how we might be, man, dirty in the parks and that. You know what I'm saying? But my point is this: when you're hard in your scene right now, that's what the Most High do to you. Because you don't, when you look at them, they're like dry bones. There's no life in them, they don't glow.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? When you go through too much pain, you don't glow.
Manifest and it can't.
It's dry bones, man.
It can't. You can't receive it.
You can't receive it.
This is Proverbs 18:2. A fool have no delight in understanding.
That's right.
But take that again from the top, bro.
This is Proverbs 18:2. A fool have no delight in understanding, but that his heart may discover itself.
That's right.
And he's not even trying to discover the right thing.
Bro, fucking nice to you. Alright, let's get back to the final now. Let's go.
Yeah, so this is the book of Proverbs, chapter 16 and verse 9.
Yeah.
And it reads, a man's heart deviseth his way,
That's right.
but the Lord Yahweh directeth his steps.
That's right.
And he directed his steps here.
And then he directed it somewhere else.
Nothing, you know.
But he knows it's true.
He knows it's true.
What did he say he got out of that?
He got the fact that looking to no. The only thing he got that the most that the most I can do anything. Yeah, the most is the boss. And he
But he didn't understand that though.
But he said he got it. So he got it. Don't worry, he got it. Give him that.
And I precept that with Proverbs chapter 16 and verse 1. The preparation of the heart in man and the answer of the tongue is from the Lord Yahweh.
Right?
And I precept that again with Proverbs.
Too much precept.
Proverbs.
Oh, give us your own understanding. What do you think? I don't want to hear from that Bible. What do you think?
I don't want to hear from the Bible. Talk to me.
And he said, but. Yeah, that's true, but. Yeah, so this is the book of Proverbs, chapter 20 and verse 24.
His finest.
Man's going are of the Lord Yahweh.
Right.
How can a man then understand his own ways? And I'll just add, how can I bug out, man? Then,
21 and 1.
And then, yeah.
Proverbs 21. I know
and then Proverbs 21 and 1.
I mean, I know.
Yeah. The king's heart is in the hand of the Lord Yahweh.
Hey, I wish I brought it, because that's him. That's him. The Most High said, you're not getting this truth. At least for this season, you're not getting it. And he didn't get it. Broke down, took time, with patience, but he couldn't get it.
But thank God we exercise the Aharata, that we exercise patience.
But the prophet is a lovely prophet.
He is, yeah, he actually is. He actually is. He actually is.
He's slow to anger.
And that's a beautiful trait to have. Especially for Banyam youth. So let me read it over again.
That's true.
Proverbs 21 and verse 1. The king's heart is in the hand of the Lord Yahweh. As the rivers of water, he turneth it whithersoever he will.
Get him Jeremiah though.
Oh, you want the full Monty?
Full whammy.
Yeah? Alright. I wasn't gonna go there, but
Jeremiah 10, yeah.
2020.
Yeah, man. And it goes back into what we started off with, man. You have to fear the Most High. This is why our people are bugged out the way they are.
But that's the reason why it came, to showing you. We started with the Baron. Baron, man. No fruit at all. The only fruit is Babylon juice process. Babylon fruit that got processed.
10 and
juice.
Yeah, it's 10 and 20. Yeah, so this is the book of Jeremiah. You there? Yeah. This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 10 and verse 23.
That's right.
O Lord Yahweh, I know that the way of man is not in himself.
That's right.
It is not in man that walketh to direct his steps.
That's right.
That's right.
This is the book of Sirach, chapter 39 and verse 19.
You know?
Actually, that was supposed to come after, but we know.
Yeah.
The works of all flesh are before him,
That's right.
and nothing can be hid from his eyes. Again, one more time. The work of all flesh is before him, and nothing can be hid from his eyes.
That's why you have to stop as men of the Lord. You know, and people that are watching, sin is a very bad thing. It happens. But we have to fight again because the most are track. See, you don't wait until the thing comes for you to see it, bro. Like me, sometimes I see something that happen around me, and I make look when everything happen around me, I sit down actually, and I sit down and I really think, and I let it sink in me, so that can give me the fear. Because judgment time is right there. What's that gonna stop? Look, bro. When the most have mercy on us in that day. But it's not pretty, my brother. What's coming? It's not pretty, bro.
But he said the elect will scarcely be saved. So much less
It's not pretty.
Okay, so you know what time it is, Israel? We're about to end. But before we do this, I'm going to give Psalms 111 verse 10 first. Just a recap. Yeah, it has to be done, I'm sorry.
Again.
Yeah. And it reads, Psalms 111 verse 10. The fear of the Lord Yahweh is the beginning of wisdom.
Fear of the Lord Yahweh is the beginning of wisdom, man. So if you don't fear the Most High, you're never going to be wise.
That's right.
You know what I mean? You're never going to be wise.
Not to anyway.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
A good understanding have all they that do his commandments.
So you have to rehearse the command, you have to rehearse it, you have to make it your business, rehearse the command when you're at home, you have to practice holiness for you, for the Most High to reveal himself. With me, I know that when I'm sitting, I barely get certain dreams. But when I don't sing, there's not a night where I see everything, my brother. Sometimes it's worrying. I can see about a brother, I can see about something, I can see a lot of things. Sometimes I don't know, I may not be able to interpret it. Well, after when it happens, I'm like, oh, I've seen it before. Right. So but that's what we need for the time to come. But they must have to show you, oh, don't go to prison tomorrow because you've been to see murder, something happening. Yes, discernment will grow on you. You can never have a spirit of discernment if you don't practice holiness, man. But the Most High don't dwell in the midst of sin.
It's a form of trusting in the Spirit.
Exactly.
Also praying and fasting.
So praying and fasting. And you know what the time when you started to fast? And I really got in the fast. In no time, so everything that I was struggling, they might come again. But you see, when they come, there was a time when the temptation come on me. Bro, I'm weak. And the only thing I want to do the whole day is that. Alright? But now, the temptation is very weak. It just comes like a little wind and it goes. Why? And if I see myself, let's say if I fall again, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to back again fasting. But fasting is too powerful. But the brother that fasting, all they see all day, broad daylight, they see, because you see, the child could be here, but the child, they're invisible at times.
That's right.
But when you fast, they reveal themselves to you. And brother around you can't see it. Brother that reach you, you be like, can you see that? Oh, I can see it. The Most High show himself. You know, it means that the spiritual portal are being opened, and that's what we will need in this kingdom when the time comes. Because we carnal people, so spirituality will be available. People think that if I don't eat, I will die. Brother, you understand, you understand this body, with the spirit can give you a 10-day where you don't eat and you're fine. Do we know that? We know that we're in Babylon. When you fast and pray, things start opening to you. So brother made a very good point. If you're weak in the spirit, start fasting and start praying. And pray in Hebrew, man. And pray in Hebrew. Sometimes prayer doesn't manifest the same day or even after 6 months. But the next year, the prayer that you make today will be answered one year. So that's be patient. Alright?
And you got to believe that too.
Alright. That's faith.
Yeah, that's the faith.
Abraham did believe in his prayer that the Most High was going to bring Isaac through.
Okay, and we're about to read now Ecclesiastes chapter 12 and verse 13 to end with. And you all know by now, this is the conclusion of the whole matter. So let me not have to remind you. But nevertheless, this is Ecclesiastes chapter 12 and verse 13. And it reads, Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear Yahweh and keep his commandments. For this is the whole duty of man. Every Israelite man, woman, and child. Verse 14. For Yahweh shall bring every work into judgment with every secret thing, whether it be good or whether it be evil. So you know me? So if you're doing something behind closed doors, your brothers may not know, but the Most High does.
That's right.
So bear that in mind, Israel.
That's right.
As usual, we're going to close out. We keep on praising to
Yahweh,
Hashem, Yahushai, Raha, Rakah, Kadash.
Death to Babylon.
We out.
And we're back in again.